Welcome to the Conscious Corner. I've been obsessed with consciousness my whole life. I'm not sure why. I don't know anything, but we'll figure it out together. I don't know. I've been thinking about manifesting my destiny for a while now. And it's a question that doesn't get easily answered. And as soon as I say manifesting, people think mythical, magical. That's not it. I'm trying to apply some logic, some reason behind if I plant a seed in my brain. And the theory is simple. You plant the seed, your brain will start focusing on it. There's a lot of psychological experiments out there where whatever you're looking for, especially cars and colors, they love that one. That you go out, you start to see a red car. You start to see red cars everywhere because you're thinking about red cars. There's a lot of psychological experiments around focus. Focus awareness is where we point our brain, and that's all we normally see. We actually have some sensory reduction in other areas, and like we laser focus. In this case, what we're talking about is over time. Over time, I will plant the seed. My brain starts thinking about ways to achieve what I want to achieve. This I know. This I've tried. This does happen. We have a lot of background processes in the brain. Akinning it to a computer, which I don't like doing. I think biology is not every generation associates the current technology with biology. Like we've done this for a long time, but it's okay. We have background processes. We do have the unconscious. There's a lot going on in our minds that is not day to day, basically. And I've experienced this in many different ways. And there's a lot of drivers that I have that I don't necessarily think about. And this is what's happened over time with unknownism. My brain has bound what it knows. It's going to keep binding what it knows. And what's interesting about that is over time, as I do more binding to my brain and my neurons, I believe more and more of my own, BS in some ways. I co-sign my own BS because I'm believing it and I'm reinforcing that belief, and there's more neurons binding, there's more stronger neurotransmitters. So in the same way, as I plant the seed and I get these background processes running, then I start thinking about that goal. I start thinking about that vision. I start thinking about bringing in a future for myself that I want. And then I start thinking about how to do that. It's just as important to have the how as it is the what. If you're on a ship, and this is a common analogy, if I'm on a ship and I don't have a destination, I'm going to float around the ocean. If I have a destination and I don't know how to get there, it's just as useless. And that's interesting. Now we've got a combination of I have a destination, I know how to get there, do I have the motivation? Like it's a lot of things need to happen for my success. And I understand because I'm aiming big as well. They say dream big for this reason. You open up the mind to the possibilities. You tell yourself it's possible. You then have a plan. And then you have to have that desire, that motivation, because it's going to come down to the day to day. And I've tried this many times and I've failed. Great. There's nothing better than failing fast and realizing that you need to alter the course. If I'm on the wrong direction in my ship, I want to know as soon as possible and put it back and realign it to where I should be going. Even having said that, what is fascinating is my goalposts change a little bit sometimes. I change. There's an old saying that says you never set foot in the same river twice because it's not the same river and it's not the same foot. You're not the same. And that's true. As time passes, we change. My brain binds different neurons. I think maybe even slightly differently per day, which adds up per week and per month. And so what I want changes slightly, or I realize that's not exactly what I was going for. And a lot of what we do is driven by feelings. I keep coming back to this and keep sticking here because many people over the years, especially in philosophy, has tried to figure out what is that will, what is that desire, what drives us in life, what's in our subconscious, what is pushing us to do what we want to do or not to do what we want. I don't know. What is pushing us basically? And that will, that desire, to me is our feelings. Feelings are a very strong region in our brain. Emotion plays a very key role to us as humans. We evolved to have it first. It's kept us alive for a long time, homeostasis, but also gives us this richness now. With consciousness comes the richness of what we feel. It's part of us. And if something is strong enough feelings-wise, we will take that action. And I do believe we developed our minds to be able to predict the future. Every time I have a plan, I'm thinking of something that hasn't happened yet. It's a prediction. But what drives me is I want to feel a certain way. Coming back to all the philosophies like valuism, that feeling is going to give me a value in the future. I know because previously I may have experienced a similar type of feeling, or based on what I've seen and learned and what's out there, the people that have achieved that kind of success feel a certain way, and I want to have that feeling. Or it's not about the material success. It's not about what you acquire. You feel a certain way. And advertising, the premise of advertising is based on this. They want to, in a 30-second clip of what they're trying to sell to you, get you to A, recognize what they're trying to sell, their brand, and B, make you feel a certain way towards that brand. And the whole premise of our, you could say, economy these days is buying things that make you feel a certain way. And that is beyond what we need. And that's perfectly okay. I don't need a $400,000 car. If I went and bought one, I would feel a certain way. And so the advertiser is trying to make that association in a very short amount of time. So you see something, you say, I want to feel what that person is feeling, so I'm going to go buy that $400,000 car. Interesting example, because a $50,000 car or a $100,000 car or even would get me to where I want to go. The purpose of a car is to drive me from point A to point B. Now, is that $400,000 car more luxurious? Sure. Does it make me feel better? Sure. Do I feel a certain way driving it? Yes. And so where I'm going with this, it's a feeling that I'm trying to achieve. Now, I'm not going to buy a $400,000 car. That's not my goal. But I want to be successful. I want to be successful in my field. I want to be successful in my career. I want to have a successful relationship. I want to have a successful family life. All of these successes come with the feeling of that association. And what's interesting about life is 20 years ago, I wanted different things than I wanted 10 years ago that I want now. Fair. I think that's very perfectly fair. Like I said, I am not the same person. It's not the same river. I change. What I want changes. How I feel changes. My body just physically changes. My mind evolves. And the evolution of the mind, to me, is one of the most important things I can focus on. When I want to achieve something, it's the tool sets that I take with me. It's what I build. It's that growth. And life, the premise of life is growth. The premise of life is adaptation and evolution. Physically, I'm going to evolve from when I'm born to when I'm no longer around. Mentally, I can, and I want to work on evolving faster. Time is against me, right? Time is our best friend and our worst enemy. I say that because it's my best friend. Without time, I have nothing. Without consciousness, I have nothing. I'm not going through life if there's no time, but also it's running out. So it's my worst enemy. I'm up against it. I feel like I'm on the clock. I wake up every day and say, am I doing the right things? Am I focusing on my goals? Am I achieving what I want to achieve? It is a lot. I get it. But like I said, I'm focusing on my growth. I want my brain to be better. I want my mind to be better. I want them to make me feel better. And that's essentially what it comes down to. And I say that very simply, but to go back to the original question, can I bring in a future for myself? If I can't, who will? And that is what inspires me. I talked about having motivation because I'm going to have to get up every day and I'm going to have to fight this fight. I have to fight the fight of my brain because my brain doesn't want to most of the time. I have to fight the fight of my mind because my psychology is deep. Everybody's psychology is deep and it plays a role against us sometimes, right? And so I'm fighting every day, and that will, that desire, that passion, it all comes into it. And I try and I try and I try. I make mistakes. I fail. Great. I learn. I adapt. I grow. It's not as easy as it sounds, and it's not supposed to be. Nothing good comes easy. That is also a foundational principle of life. I've learned it the hard way. If it was easy, everybody would do it. The good things come from the struggle. It's the toughness. It's the hard parts that make us who we are. And that's the one that we want to have the success with.